2023 has already given me two of the best action films that I've ever seen, those being John Wick Chapter 4 and Extraction 2. While both of the films shine in hand to hand and gunfight action sequences, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, God, that's a long ass name, shines in the aspect of great chase sequences, Tom Cruise sprinting across the streets of Venice, and action that has great stakes in the storyline, which itself is pretty intense. It's definitely a very highly entertaining spy action crime thriller. There are some new twists on the classic Mission Impossible traits, and let's talk about them. First off, the main antagonist of the film is actually an artificial intelligence called the Entity, quite fitting for the times that we live in. But what I love about this film is the depiction of the AI. In movies like The Terminator and The Avengers, we see AI taking over the world by building robots. But in the 7th Mission Impossible film, the power of the Entity is not being able to build robots, but being able to calculate so many permutations and combinations of what a character or a person might think and plan its moves accordingly. Now that's a great twist on the whole AI concept. This new take on the concept of AI is quite refreshing, but also keeps the movie grounded in reality. The main conflict of this film, at least, is not to stop the AI itself, but to stop the people from getting their hands on it so that they don't weaponize it. Again, quite fitting for the times that we live in. The film has part 1 in the title, so it had me worried that it might end in the middle of a story and on a cliffhanger, but thank God that's not the case. The film actually tells a complete story, and the ending implies that there is more to come. The character of Gabriel introduced in this film is shown to have some connection with Ethan Hunt in the past, but that's not very well explored. Maybe that will be explored in the 8th part of this franchise and part 2 of this story. Personally, I haven't been a very big fan of the whole face mask thing the Mission Impossible franchise is quite famous for. But in one instance, the sequence is done brilliantly and it really did put a smile on my face. Ethan walks into an office disguised as the secretary of one of the officers, and then officer gets a call that your secretary is laying unconscious in his home, and the officer turns and asks Ethan, how are you going to get out of here? And we see that Ethan is putting on the face mask of the officer who's on the phone. That was a pretty great moment, but at the same time, the whole Haley Atwell taking a Vanessa Kirby's face and infiltrating the meeting, that's too much. I'm not a big fan of that. Tom Cruise jumping off a cliff on a motorcycle is a feat highly admired, but I personally feel the train sequence in the 3rd act is much more engaging and anxiety inducing, while being equally fun to watch. One thing I did not like about this film is that at some point Ethan is given a chance to save either Rebecca Ferguson's character or Haley Atwell's character, and Ethan acts like he wants to save both of them. Don't get me wrong, Haley Atwell has the most charming character I have ever seen in a Mission Impossible film, but you are supposed to love that as an audience. But if you see it from Ethan's point of view, she has constantly betrayed him and at one point had left him to die, tying him to a car in the middle of a train track. So Tom Cruise's desperation to protect her just feels unnatural. I mean, I get Ethan, she's pretty, but she also tried to fucking kill you. This also led me to a point where I realized that every Mission Impossible film is basically Tom Cruise having something, maybe nuclear codes, maybe nuclear bombs, or the key to the AI, then someone stealing it from him, and then him running, trying to get it back, like actually sprinting. And the moment it clicked that this is what every Mission Impossible film is, it just got a bit annoying. The car chase through the streets of Rome, Tom Cruise sprinting through the streets of Venice, and him jumping off a cliff of an Australian mountain are very, very well created action set pieces. Not only in the terms of visual, but in the terms of sound design as well. The BGM used and the silences used definitely elevate these scenes. Overall, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a superb film, and if you watch it as an aspiring filmmaker, this film will definitely make you want to do something big, and that's what makes it a great film to me.